This is Breakfast with Dan and Jenny on ABC Newcastle.
Have you ever come across something going on, a big issue or a small issue, and just thought, wish I could do something to help?
Our next guest is so passionate about helping prevent veteran suicide that he's been walking and walking and walking for charity Soldier On and its March On challenge. So this year, it's a virtual walking challenge because of the pandemic, but people are walking the length of Kokoda, 96 kilometres.
The Hunter's Sergeant Bert Lamerton is 102 years old. Feels a bit like our version of the wonderful Captain Sir Tom Moore. Good morning, Sergeant Bert.
Hello.
Why do you feel so strongly about this cause?
I have this feeling in my mind that current personnel, that's what you might call contemporary veterans, are having difficulties in returning to civilian life. They have mental health problems, and there are problems with education and sometimes difficulties in employment pathways. What we're endeavouring to do is raise sufficient funds that we might help these contemporary veterans to succeed in their time after service. I spent plenty of time in the Defence Force during the course of World War II, of course. I put in 5.5 years of my life in that service. Where
were you during World War II? Where did you spend those years of service?
In North Africa. I was one of the residents in Tobruk. We lived there for 8 months, living in holes in the ground. I also served at Al Alamein. We came home to Aussie and retrained for jungle warfare, and we served in New Guinea. We came home again and finally served in the campaign in Borneo. That's where I was when the war ended, in Borneo.
Sergeant Bert, your time serving our country, did that affect your mental health as well as some of your friends?
Not my mental health personally, and I don't recall any of our personal friends who had difficulties. I found that when we left the service, we kept together. We became family during the course of our service, and in particular platoons, we were more like brothers. When we left the service, we formed a civilian organisation. That meant that we kept our friendships going. We were members of a group of people who had served together. Our families grew up in that knowledge. Our children grew up in that knowledge. And, of course, we kept our families and our children together on many of the occasions when we met as a group.
Bert, I'd love to know about your fundraising. How far have you walked so far for Soldier On?
For Soldier On, I've covered in excess of 300 kilometres personally, walking around. It's just one of those things, you know. You keep on doing it because you can. I have the facility to continue walking. I don't know why. It might be in the genes. On the other hand, it might be because I simply kept myself fairly interested in movement and walking during the course of my lifetime.
Yeah. Captain Sir Tom Moore started with the idea of walking 100 lengths of his garden in England. Where have you been walking?
Well, I used to walk around the streets of St Clair out near Penrith. Now I walk around the block surrounding the lodge home in which I dwell, and of course up and down the passageways in the various floors.
So more than 300 kilometres. How much money have you raised?
The amount of cash raised over the period is about $110,000, might be $1 or two over.
That is extraordinary.
Involved in this, there are some 6,200 people. Between them have walked 235,000 kilometres and raised around about $1.42 million, all of which, of course, is to facilitate assisting these contemporary veterans.
Bert, well done for you with your fundraising. Thanks for telling us all about it. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
That's Sergeant Bert Lamerton. As you heard, Bert has walked hundreds of kilometres over a couple of years for the March On Challenge, which started at the start of the month. He has walked more than 90 kilometres, the length of Kokoda, and he's still going. Do you know, he's told us his secret to a long life too. He's 102.
Yeah, he says, you know, you've got to keep walking. You've got to stay active, basically, was his secret.